we'll see. They actually, so Aphelios left open, Lulu ban this time.
Okay, so what makes me curious is that AD carry priority in the series hadn't really been a thing. Jinx is going to get picked up by Light. Tarzan on the lease in again. Two strong picks. And if we're just looking at draft, it feels like that's going to be impactful like any other game where these two are open.
Absolutely. And it gives them a bit more of that late game scaling to lean into. Jinx, not as much pressure early as the Aphelios, but can lean later and has that long range to provide. Now, the question for me for FPX, do you go in a similar direction, right? Looks like they're not going to opt for it. We saw them go for the Galio Camille in this scenario before, but confident with his Zhao here. Remember, this is essentially the matchup that we had in that game one, and it went in favor of Tarzan. So potentially looking to secure a pick for Gori that can provide that pressure, because the mid jungle 2v2 has been instrumental in this series.
It is it. This isn't the LCK, even though Rookie picked it up before, guys. You don't want to play that. Nautilus gets picked up instead, and all right, on the other side, just going to be supports. Now, this looks a lot more 12.1-ish, where we don't see top laners coming through blind unless it's a Gwen. We get the bottom laners, we get the jungle. Orcs, you know what that means. We're going to have Gwen banned now, and we're going to have Camille banned by one of these teams, because both top laners love Camille.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it pans out. I think definitely the Gwen ban makes a lot of sense. Leona pick up LNG, very good in the Nautilus, and then the LNG get first pick in this situation. So if they want to secure something for Doinb, they can. Don't have to contest too much. But also that there's potential for that in the top lane, right? Like, banning Jace makes the Gwen even more desirable. So I think FPX need to ban that away. Maybe they leave it till second ban. Maybe they let LNG ban another top lane matchup, thinking that they won't ban Gwen. But we'll see how that pans out. First off, they get rid of the Galio, which is, you know, fair enough. It obviously was very impactful last game. But there's still Ryze available, right? I think Doinb is fine with that. And actually, LNG banning Gwen. So that signals to me that they're probably picking a mid laner on this fourth pick.
So you banned Doinb's Ryze then? As you were just talking about, you know, if he wants to go that direction, then for Doinb, what does he have left? Like, that would be 5 Doinb bans. We're going to wait 8 seconds, because if he loses Ryze, those are all mid lane bans. Yes, Renekton is mid because Doinb's played it before, and it's such a thing. Oh, we get a top lane ban. Well, it gets rid of
Had
the
to
trend.
ruin the streak.
That's right, dude. Not all for Doinb. One for Arlo in the end. And there's the Ryze that's left open.
Yeah, no surprise there. Now the question is what FPX is going to take. I don't think the Orianna offered enough pressure. We'll see if they can pick something up. They can obviously look to contest priority earlier and provide for Clid. In the top lane, in terms of safe blinds, you know, you have like your Gragas's, you have Graves. Potentially the Camille is open and available, and a lot of the matchup's been thinned out. So we'll look to see what they take there. Right now, looks like they're just going to lock in the Graves for xiaolaohu. Still wanting to think over that mid lane pick. Again, you want something that can contest the early prio and attack Doinb, right? Viktor could be okay, but I don't really want to see the Orianna. Just didn't really I feel like I had enough impact. So not exactly the most active lane, but again, I'm not sure we really expected that from Gori. And this could be the thing that sort of causes problems for FPX, right? Is that Lee Sin, Ryze combo being unmatched.
That's what we talked about, where Doinb gets through the laning phase and he's able to move as he pleases. In game number 1, this exact combo between jungle and mid got priority. Finn? Oh, no, sorry, it's Arla, but same feeling? Yes. Fiora versus Graves? Thank God we have something different, and more importantly, an Arla specialty. Now, you guys all know, Ben got a pentakill on Fiora in game 2 in Suning versus Damwon. But Arla is also an OG Fiora, one of his best champions, and he'll show you why coming in this game.
Absolutely, and it sort of frees up a win con for LNG in the 1v1, right? Fiora obviously seemingly scales infinitely at this point. The fact that she does so much true damage later on, she can just full vitals, just kills anything in the game. So very threatening in a side lane later on.
He was a menace. Seeing him on a comfort pick to round out this series is great. And he's gone Grasp. So we've got a Grasp Fiora up in that top side. And everything, I think, looks normal, apart from runes, where we're just getting double glacial support. And Fleet for the Graves top, of course.
Yep. Do you are seeing the Conqueror Aphelios? We've seen a lot of press the attack Aphelios, more like that bursty pop in combo. So LwX going in a bit different direction on that one, which is kind of similar to we saw him on the Ezreal as well. Sorry, that was Light. But yeah, we saw like a bit of sort of old school AD carry builds because we saw Light on the Ezreal with the Conqueror, not the first strike, going with the Divine Sundra, not suddenly going like Crown the Shattered Queen. You see Doinb playing a dangerous game. They can just maybe get him.
They do have him, and there's Glacial Augment there as well. Ignite down, he has to flash. That is not a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, so flashbang for Doinb, chunked out already in lane. We said how important, how vital Doinb's role is in this game to sort of facilitate Tarzan. Already had a setback, and it makes Gori's time a lot easier in the lane. So good start overall for FPX.
Yeah, I mean, Doinb, as you said, he has to stay in the lane. Didn't want to back away, even burn that early TP. So Gori having a great time to start things off. And there you go. That's how you win the lane as Gori. Is Hung actually going to be Wretch lining in. LvMao with a quick response. And bottom lane chooses to fling back and forth. A quick game of ping pong, as they say, hoping to get level 2 first. And Aux coming into this game. There's one lane we haven't panned to yet. That's the lane I care about the most. Ala on his Fiora going up against xiaolaohu. Already a CS advantage for the Graves. And I want to note as well, both junglers look like they're in different pathing routes, as Clid's actually pathing topside, and Tarzan's now working his way through bottom side camps.
Yeah, it does mean that we'll see Clid able to cover for xiaolaohu in this situation, but unfortunately might be a little bit disappointed by this lane in the early levels. Ale essentially will just be looking to scale up. He's got second wind, he's got Doran shield, he can just absorb any damage from the Graves. We'll trade with him when he has grasp up to get those extra procs. But ultimately not looking too much pressure for now. Just an all in.
They did get cleared. He's level 3. LvMao's already flashed away straight onto the support. It's going to be an early burst blood, but Clid, the ignite's down. Light's trying to hit him. Jungler trade is big, and it's Light who picks it up as LwX at half HP. Light and Tarzan chasing on up. Rooted down. Light flashes forward. The zap dodged away by LwX. And it's one more trigger to hit him. The red won't be enough, but they'll have to push in. LNG with the win out with the AD carry able to stay in the lane.
Yeah, and look at the wave he's going to end up missing. It's such a backfire. Tarzan looking for more here. They are going to step up and try and contest it, but still, bit of a disaster. Spotted out coming into the lane and gets counter ganked. And it's a bit of a unique path, right? You did the bot side clear into bot gank. You should have expected xiaolaohu.
Okay, it's going to continue. We've got early action coming through. Gori over the wall without mana. LNG kind of just forced xiaolaohu off of that scuttle, and it's given over to Doinb. He'll love that after his start.
Yeah, we've seen xiaolaohu do the exact same thing going for that. Oh,
they're happening again. The Zap got LwX. He has no summons apart from that cleanse, but it won't matter. They return again and getting excited on Hung. 3 kills on Jinx. I see the light.
Yeah, that's looking like a good start. I'll say that much. You know, we talked about mid jungle being instrumental, but this is just mistakes from FPX. They go for this gank, but you should know that Tarzan is on this side of the map from how he passed, right? Acquiring that early information is invaluable. But they just go for this gank on this side. Cleanup starts to come in. Lethal tempo fully stacked. Light fully ramping. Actually, the route from Hung pretty instrumental in keeping LwX alive there. Would have certainly gone down otherwise. But even so, Chunk zoned away, and then they come in again and get the double kill cleanup. Light having red buff and that lethal tempo stack, so threatening.
Huge, dude. Seeing a Jinx with 3 kills, that's kind of when your morale goes from about a 6 to a 2. Definitely for me, at the very least. So, Noon Quiver picked up. Light coming back to lane in a very strong way. And sure, guys, LwX is Noon Quiver too, but boots on the Jinx with Adoran's in hand too. A very good start here for LNG when mid looked pretty hopeless, with Doinb having to burn flash so early, having no HP bar. LNG back on the right track, and it's also because of Tarzan, right, Aux? Again, jungler's a big part of what makes today special, and Tarzan's released in the right place at the right time.
You ever seen Clid and Tarzan going head-to-head? Game 2, Clid getting the MVP, and Tarzan answering back once again, at least in 0-0-3, already taking part in a substantially active early game. We'll see how he looks to continue that. I think you can honestly just keep playing around this bot lane, right? Doinb is going to eventually be in position to move down when he has his ultimate. Pop is fine, you know. Ale is just chilling there, really feeling comfortable. It looks like Clid is trying to come down and fix the mess he left earlier
X-Flash from LvMao. Gonna spot out Clip now. Dredge line's in. It's 3 versus 2 for now, but look at Light. I mean, this Jinx is gonna get the reset once again onto Hung. Give him the 4th kill. Thank you so much. A Tarzan there, and they just know they have to back away.
And the difference there was Doinb, right? Because in that play, they actually initiated. They could have blown up LvMao, but they had to back away because they knew Doinb's moving. And this is a difference that pick will make. Even before he has a Realm Orb, Doinb's able to make his way down and provide that threat, pose potential for facing a 4-man and losing more than just your support. So once again, FPX lose a member. LNG going to quickly transition this into the first dragon, only 6 minutes 30, so setting themselves up for potential early soul. Really solid start.
It's huge. The fact that LNG in this final game is so far ahead now. To the tune of 1,000 gold at 6 minutes, the dragon you talked about, yeah, that's up that condition. And importantly enough, in each and every lane, it won't matter if you're 5 or so CS behind, because Light has too many kills to count, as Arla's actually on the chase. For xiaolaohu, he has no mana. Arla will get another vital here. There's a grand challenge ready to be issued if xiaolaohu walks back, but at half HP, Arla doesn't risk it, doesn't try for it. Instead, just continues to push through the lane with the TP-less Graves.
Yep, forces him back, forces him to reset by trading with him heavily. And again, every time you're trading with him, you have to think of it like an investment, right? You're just getting more and more stacks for your Grasp of the Undying over the long run. So as long as you're able to sustain up again, which Fiora can do quite easily with the Vitals, with the sustain from a Doran Shield and Second Wind, always worth to trade in those scenarios.
So Orcs,
that's the thing, that's the worry, right? Just to say, that's the worry, right? Arla scaling up in the side lane is going to become a thorn in the sides of FPX later on. So even if they find a way to deal with this Jinx, there is still the Fiora problem that's going to rear its head.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask, like, do we still see LNG, you know, playing towards this Fiora lane, or because of now how big Light is Doinb just going to continue to threaten bot and make Lwx and Hung's life a living hell?
Honestly, I don't even think you need to just play the Fiora at all. You can just let it be self-sufficient, right? Like, as long as FPX aren't putting too much pressure there, Arla is fine. Like, you've seen him consistently trading up in the 1v1, but he's trading evenly. To play towards your strong Jinx, and if anything goes wrong, you have a backup plan.
Good call, because that's exactly what he's doing. Realm Orb coming down, Hung in a lot of trouble. Tarzan doesn't even kick that one as Doinb flashes away, but the root down on top of Clid. Tarzan with a bit of howdy with a Sonic Wave. Clid pulls out the Crescent Strike, but Tarzan still has an ulti. Control Ward down, Safeguard over the Sonic Wave. He's now in a bit of a pickle as he kicks away before Lwx gets involved. Tarzan tried for it. He wanted to blow up Clid. Still had Flash available, but LNG with another one. And hey, you know who the kill went on? That's right, it went on Jinx.
Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse. And this is one of the things, like, Nautilus is so squishy, so easy for Leona to engage on, just lock down. And once he's in range of you, she walks in front to block the dredge line. There's no way you get out. And then her Q is up in like 5 seconds. It's so difficult, and Hung is just feeling the pain. They committed to picking the Nautilus early, picking a blind, knowing that Leona was a potential response. And now Hung is trying to do what he typically can do quite well, and he's roaming up towards the top side. Ally is a little bit low on health, so potentially they could have looked to punish, but instead they are looking to prioritize its Herald. But they have been spotted. I think LNG are feeling confident to move in. We'll see if they commit to a fight or just look for a steal, but Light is coming over, as is Doinb. This could be a big fight for either side.
Orcs, he has a Gale Force. There's a Jinx with a rocket and a Gale Force. So first item complete on the Rift. And as Hung goes in, bit of a Hilla Hung moment as jumping forward as well. LvMao, Chaos Storm's on top of him. He gets exploded. Now it's up to Doinb and Light to bring the fight back. But the Herald's already taken. FPX getting that. Felt like they had no business winning that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they get set up that early. Arla's not really in a position to team fight right now, and I think that's a critical thing. Imagine later in the game with the Fiora coming on the flank. It could be so scary. Arla's not posing much of a threat. And in fact, he needs to be a bit careful.
He's deep. He's very, very deep, trying to W out for the depth charge, or rather the passive coming through. Hung does not have the ultimate. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, but there's a Herald. That can just be placed immediately in the top side. This is going to be a play that Lwx will be able to counter this gold lead immediately.
Absolutely, and Tarzan's there to help defend, but they will look to dive.
But Tarzan, yeah, you're right. The counter punch is absolutely huge on top of Clid, who flashes away. The ulti from Lwx, but Tarzan still in. The kick away, not enough damage. Tarzan dies to Clid, and Hung lives on.
Just manages to survive in the turnaround. LvMao's there, but I don't think they have the strength with just two of them to go in. They're going to let the Herald connect to get two more plates, but it won't take the tower yet. Still, a ton of gold picked up for FPX, definitely closing the gap on that play, and it's a positive to see. Remember, when it comes to ease of execution, FPX have it. We saw them win out that Herald team fight because their backline was uncontested and they can just pick a target and shred them, right? LNG needs to be a little bit more creative with how they play the map or the team fights if they want to come out ahead.
Oh, I feel so bad for Tarzan in that play. You look at it at first glance, you're like, that's silly. Why'd you do that? But a kick looked like it was going to execute, looked like it was going to rather get the kill. And that close call cost them so much as well. Aux, that was first turret blood going over to Lwx. Again, FPX in this early game are fighting against a 5-0 Jinx, and they're the ones that get Herald. They're the ones that get the turret. They're the ones that get away with this dive without losing the 3 members they commit.
Yeah, the stopwatch is pivotal here, but the critical thing is that they went for this dive because Ale didn't have his riposte available. Uses it there to keep Hung in range, but just doesn't do quite enough damage with the burner take him down. The level up help him as well. Now, we see LNG secure that second dragon, and Light will pick up that tower. But, even with picking up that tower, there is a 1k gold lead between AD carries. I'm not going to sit here and say that isn't a lot. It's obviously substantial. But this is a 5-0 Jinx, and because of that first tower blood that Lwx got, only being 1,000 gold ahead, you expect more, right? You expect a bigger gap, and FPX have done a good job to keep the AD carry disparity a little bit closer than it should be.
Yeah, it definitely feels like having the Gale Force here for Lwx, a big win. But felt like, that 1k gold was pretty much achieved by getting that bottom side turret with turret plating still up and available. So 1-for-1 turrets here in this game. 1k gold lead even not there at the moment. We're down to like 800 in terms of numbers. Clid waiting on the side. Light might be caught out here. He's got a big bounty. Wind becomes lightning. Gale Force away. Clid is not going to find that gold in his pocket yet. And almost a Zeal turning into a rapid fire for Light 2. So as we move into the 13-minute mark right here now, Aux, Herald, next dragon, not coming up for a while. It is Chemtech Dragon, by the way, so it does smell on the Rift. I wanted to ask you about... I wanted to ask you a little bit about what happens moving into mid-game, because there's some good scaling elements on both sides. And now the game's a little bit more even. It's not just a huge washout with the 5-0 Jinx. I need you to set me up for some of these objective fights.
So I think objective fights are a bit harder for LNG, right? There's potential they can use to find good engages at the back of Tarzan, LvMao, flanks, picking up key members. That's all possible, but in terms of like a raw 5v5 where it's like front to back, they're going to struggle a bit unless they have a big advantage. Someone misplays. So where they really want to play is they want to play this kind of wide map state, let Fiora keep scaling up. The fact they have 2 dragons already is great because they're not too concerned about needing to fight the dragons. They will eventually get to the point where this Fiora is unstoppable in the side lane, so they can just play it slow and lean to that. But if they found the window, they definitely could capitalize. The FPX, it's a matter of keeping your backline safe and keeping your front line in front. It's that simple, right? Hung and Clid want to soak damage. xiaolaohu, Gori, and Lwx can shred any target that gets close. And they kind of want to keep things that way. If Doinb finds his way onto a flank and starts putting down damage, if Ale finds his way on a flank and starts executing people, big kicks coming in, those are all things that FPX do not want.
Okay, with those angles with the Realm Wall. Keep in mind for that, Arla as well with his TPs on the Fiora. Right now has Divine Thunder and has been doing pretty well within the lane. It's a flash forward from Doinb, depth charge as well. They're forcing this. LNG want in, but Doinb getting low. Ignited down with Lwx. Forward he goes to the Super Mega Death Rocket right through the crowd of people. Hung again survives. And this is getting concerning, the fact that FPX keep getting something.
Yeah, they keep trying to force in these situations, and maybe the game plan there was to try and force a summoner advantage, right? If they got Lwx's cleanse to flash, that could have been huge, but they end up going on a Hung. Not only do they not kill him, they don't even get his flash, and we kind of see the replay here. So again, if they got Lwx here, it could have been a different story. Just the bit of summoners, it might be weird, but they don't. And as a result, Clid and Hung soak so much damage, and it goes back on what we just talked about the team fighting, how FPX have those 3 huge backline carries who can just shred anyone who gets close.
Being light in that fight, it's like, well, that's where all that gold is, and it hurts right now. The ward going down, and I'm scared that LvMao is going to get caught out again. But folks, gold in the favor of FPX. Who needs a Jinx when apparently you have an Aphelios and in front of Herald, FPX Aux, their first setup is they're in the river.
Yeah, and that is such a vital thing. Them having first setup is always going to be favorable. They really don't want to be pushing into an area they can't see because then they can get flanked on. That's when things can get painful. They'll contest the mid wave, but move now. It's up to LNG to move in if they want to take this, but I don't even think they have a chance to contest it. Too far away. FPX can secure this Herald. Another objective in the bag.
Well, Allah's going to try and get bot for it, though. He's got demolished, so no one's going to be there in time. Allah will be able to trade a turret for the Herald, which means that LNG will move slightly ahead in gold again. Doinb even at an off angle, making sure that Gori's not running at him with the Everfrost. LNG looking for mid priority for 20 seconds because Orcs, Chemtech Dragon, LNG still have 2 in their back pocket. Feels like the most successful tail outside of the 5-0 Jinx.
And it's going to put pressure on FPX because now if they want to contest this dragon, they have to force into the river. A lot less comfortable than when they had control of the Herald area. So they will throw down that Rift Herald mid, try and help buy themselves some pressure. Lwx has the Infernum just to clear out the wave quickly, and now they can make their way through. This does make things a lot easier, and it looks like LNG bidding both teleports to get in. They want to fight this, and how they approach this is really critical.
xiaolaohu going to enter from that ward spotted out from LNG as they're running straight at river towards them. Light's the one that has to take it out, and as it finally goes down, LNG, this would lead to Soul Point. It's clear tagged with Wind becomes Lightning. Hung's the one who's going to dredge line in. His depth charge available too. On top of Arla, he's used it on the Fiora. It's countered, and Hung goes down immediately. Cleared right in the middle, but a good Moonlight Vigil. Lwx on top of LvMao. He's flashing away, but that's the damage source. xiaolaohu walks into river, but Soul Point now acquired as Tarzan sacrifices his life. It's Doinb with the Realm Warp out of there. LNG losing 2 for the price of 1, and the Dragon on their side.
They get the dragon though, so I think they can be happy with that one. A critical thing is xiaolaohu was so late, right? He took such a long time to get there. Eventually TP'd to mid lane tower. Like, I can't believe that is the setup that FPX ended up with for that dragon. We can watch the replay, and that's what I really want to focus on. Look at the minimap, right? xiaolaohu's teleport mid. They're already fighting. He's nowhere near. Like, the fact that FPX still win this fight kind of show how good their front to back is, right? But the fact xiaolaohu is so late, this could have been so much more favorable. He took a long time to teleport as well. If he was coming in flanking, Doinb and Arle and Light here, it could have been a different story. But either way, kind of a poor setup from FPX means that they end up losing the dragon. And now, you know, 4 minutes till that soul potentially. We know how powerful the Chemtech soul is. Also with the Fiora split pushing, think how hard it is when she's on backdooring and you have to kill her twice. Not going to be a fun time. So LNG find a way to really put the pressure on.
I know a lot of people are asking. Remember, 12.1, Chemtech Soul is not disabled. So that's why you're seeing it here in competitive play. It might be a different story as we return from Chinese New Year. Folks, this is the second last day before LPL goes on a 14-day break. That's right, a break is... Hang on, Hung has decided this is going to be a big one, but he's caught out and dead. Supports this series, man. Not sure what's going on as Light has to back away with the dash, and Cliff still going in with the Crescent Guard already burnt. Doinb chunked out LvMao as well. Front facing as the gravity field locks him in play. And, I don't know. The LNG still losing their support too. How are they losing with a 6-0 Jinx?
I just feel like the team fight's not that hot, right? Ryze is good at, like, hitting down a single target and doing AoE, but they just don't have as good a front line right now because Clade on this Zhao is so broken as a frontliner. And on top of that, like, the damage output, you have the Graves, the Viktor, and the Aphelios, and Aphelios just shreds anyone. Whereas on the side, like, Arle hasn't actually done anything in any team fight. I'm just gonna flat out say it, and that's fine because he's a Fiora. That's not his job. But it feels like he kind of just sits on the edge of the team fights and just watches and just hopes that, like, his team are gonna win so he can clean up. And I think that's the big difference, is that, like, you have 3 high damage carries in FPX, and then you have, obviously, Light is doing so much, but Doinb's doing like a decent amount. He's not doing insane damage. And you kind of see here, so, like, this is just a mistake from FPX. No reason for Hung to really be going this aggressive without the backline. But then, like, Clade just soaks all this damage from Light. Light can't really push forwards there. And then it's when the other side starts to approach. Now, Light is, like, checked by Gori and xiaolaohu. If he steps forward, he's just going to get absolutely popped. Yeah. LNG recognize that this is not a good fight for them. They have to disengage. And, you know, a 1-for-1 is fine for them, in all honesty. As long as Arle is still split pushing, as long as he's still getting farm in the side lane, it's not too much of a problem.
Adding pressure and opening up the map for Arle. Goal going to be achieved here if he gets this, but Gori with the wave clear. Still quite great on the Viktor. 7 kills apiece, folks. 21 minutes into the game. Chemtech Soul is up for LNG in 1:40. And for LNG, like, in this game, they are hitting towards 2 items now. Light is still strong, so ready for those resets in the coming fights, but I'd still be scared when you're talking about FPX's ease of front to back. Their Aphelios is 2.5 items strong. Like, Lwx is huge, and we're getting some of those bigger bruiser items, almost first item completed for Hung too. It's going to get easier and easier as FPX go on in front of these neutrals.
It's going to get scary. And I think, again, you know, with how the team fights play out, LNG can be tricky. But the problem is, now that you have those 3 dragons, even if FPX win the fight, if LNG get the smite, and Tarzan has been on point with a smite, if he just managed to smite the dragon, that's a win for LNG. Like, even if FPX win the fight and get Baron, I still think having the Chem Soul is going to give you more in the long run. Securing that objective is so broken. So FPX, not only do they have to win this, they have to play it flawlessly and prevent Tarzan from getting the smite down.
Well, it's an early TP. It's xiaolaohu who moves in the river with the rest of
Arle
FPX.
in the camo.
Arle, if he wants to commit to the team fight, you got to do what Aux is saying and not just hover around watching. FPX is a 5-man unit and have cleared out vision. But LNG still dropping control. Well, it's here and there. FPX just moving up together. And for LNG, relying on Arle to hit some kind of angle. He's spotted out by xiaolaohu. Aux in this next fight, I'm looking. The Doinb and Light to pop out damage. Similarly, Gori as well. And Lwx is huge. LvMao flashes in. Gori burns his own. That's mid for support as Dragon now spawns. And LNG just going to give it up in the hopes of opening the map through mid.
Yep, and that's the thing, is that they don't need to commit for that. They're going to head towards the top side and I think go for the tower. Not quite fast enough to go for the Baron. But I like the decision, right? You don't need to flip the fight on the Dragon. That's the security you have by having 3 in the pocket. Absolutely getting Chem Soul would be great, but there's a lot of risks involved. If you don't get the Dragon and then you also lose the fight, that is game over.
Oh, Light just flashed.
You see,
Light just flashed.
Yeah,
he was hidden away at the Grom. Sorry, excuse me, at the Krugs or the Ryze, whatever you want to call it. And for FPX, it's given them momentum now on top of Tarzan. xiaolaohu's spotted over the wall. Rest of LNG are here, but if they stay and fight, they could die. Doinb running back towards his turret. Good little burst damage received, but for FPX, they've cleared out quite a lot, and they're in front of the Baron. They love Baron.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Light needed the flash because he had Gale Force up and available, so a little bit maybe questionable there. That's obviously a much longer cooldown, but yeah, we'll get a replay. So I could have Gale Force that. I'm just gonna be real. Maybe concerned that if it did connect, like even if you Gale Force, if you were late, you would have got caught off. So can't fault him for trying to react, but either way, doesn't mean that big cooldown is unavailable, and it's desynced with Dragon, so Dragon will be up and then there'll be a bit of time and then Light splashes up, which makes it a little bit tricky. But we're at that point once again, which you've seen before, where FPX could be setting up for Baron, but we've seen how much they struggle to do that, so maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, maybe, because I feel like for either of these teams, Aux, that Baron is going to be a 50-50 burger flip, like literally, you know, Cadrill's McDonald's stream. That'll be an easy sell, because in game number 3, both these teams, you can see with how they're playing out, the Baron seems like a dangerous objective to start. FPX moving towards it now, though, could be wrong, just to clear out some vision, and there's not too much in this topside river. FPX don't have too much work to do, actually, as LNG are moving towards it once again. Dragon's not up for 3 minutes, so it is all about Baron for the next couple.
And it becomes really precarious if the team does do a good job, right? We keep saying FPX aren't the best at like sweeping out the deep vision, getting the control. LNG showed they are masters of that, but obviously they're not the ones with the agency to do so. But the chem fog is so problematic. Once it's swept out, if you don't have the control wall to clear through, it becomes an issue. Arle is just going to keep fishing for these opportunities to punish the side lane, and he's not quite at the point where he's sort of unstoppable in the side lane. He's actually itemized more for team fights than anything, right? He's picked up the Hysterics. He's very much gone for this build where I want to be able to function in team fights because it might be necessary.
LvMao. So the question is how. The question is how, and like, it's really hard to make a case for this guy when, you know, at least Hung has had some huge moments this split, but LvMao consistently caught out. FPX pushing through mid. There's wave clear from LNG. They still don't want to start the Baron, but support's down for 13 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, LvMao just completely, I don't know why you're there. I don't know how you're getting caught out. We didn't get a C, but a big mistake. And now what FPX should be doing is sweeping out the vision, right? You know they don't have support wards to replace at the moment. We'll get it. It's a ward again. Again, it's a ward, right?
His obsession with wards, a true support. A true support. Oh my god.
You know what? To some degree, I respect it. Every good support main has died for control ward before, and if you say you haven't, you're lying.
True. I'm not sure what I heard in my ear. I believe 2,000 kills for LWX is what my producer just told me. So congratulations.
Wait, on LvMao alone? These killed LvMao 2,000 times?
No, he hasn't killed like LvMao 2 times. LWX with 2,000 kills in the LPL. I think Uzi's on like 2.7K. There is a leaderboard somewhere, folks. Again, if you do have the leaderboard from the Chinese side, you should be able to find that. But congratulations. It's like a mini birthday thing. LWX has been in the league for quite a while. He played with Crisp all that time too. Nice to see him with Hung, and nice to see that he is still popping off in a game where he shouldn't be. Orcs, he's 4-1, and his dragon spawns, Aphelios 3 items versus the Jinx. As, okay, great challenge.
But this might be
onto
the window.
xiaolaohu. That's big for Ala. He needs to kill this. Graves collateral damage over the wall. One more pop slows him down. On the backside, we're seeing that solo kill, but for the rest of FPX, they're getting hit hard. Tarzan doing good, and Light re-firing. All of a sudden, we come back, and the Phoenix is in ashes again.
They managed to find it. Lwx gets his 2,000th kill, but he doesn't get his 2,001 kills. Gets shut down with a beautiful kick from Tarzan. They're going to be able to get that Chemtech Soul, which you have gone on and on and on about how broken this thing is. And honestly, health bars maybe a little bit too low for them to head over the Baron, but that objective is there for the game. For the rest of the game, they're dealing with 5 people with essentially mini GAs. We're going to see how the fight broke out. So initially, engage on a Tarzan, and it just feels like missing the damage from the Graves really substantial here.
Whoa.
See Hung go down, that allows the reset, and this is a critical moment. Tarzan with a beautiful pick, but now they're on the Baron.
Yeah, and Clid's here, and they're getting low. And for LNG, they turn for the jungle, but Clid's in the pit, but he's dead before he can get the smite down. Tarzan secures, and all of a sudden we go from replay to fight to replay to fight, and the game feels diddly done.
They find critical moments. Ale has hit that critical mass where he can just solo kill xiaolaohu if he's overextended. Light got the reset onto Hung, but also Tarzan with that beautiful kick. We talked about how in these team fights, if the front line can stay on the front line and the back line of FPX can stay on the back line, 3 scaling carries just shredding, that's where they feel comfortable, but they changed the dynamic. Tarzan found the beautiful angle. They're able to capitalize, and now 6k gold lead, Baron in pocket, and the Chemtech Soul, the most broken soul in the game by Country Mile in hand.
Oh, yeah, dude. Why
this might actually, we only have tomorrow. This might be the last Chemtech Soul in the LPL.
Maybe forever. Maybe the Chemtech Soul never returns.
I certainly hope so. Not in this form. Not in this form, definitely not.
Dude, it's taken us a while to realize, but yeah, the Chemtech Soul disabled for a certain reason. For LNG to abuse it one last time feels pretty big. And I want to say, in that last fight, you know, Light did what he needed to do, but I think more importantly, Ala getting the solo kill on the back end was exciting to watch. This guy now unbeatable in the side lane, and LNG know it as they push him with the Baron buff, looking to put the finishing touches onto the Phoenix. Doinb's old team, Clid joining in, and you know what? Doinb looking at his ex-teammate back from the JDG days, having a bit of a laugh.
Absolutely. It feels, you know, they're holding on for now, but a lot of damage done to that bot lane tower. The problem is it's so hard to find and engage, right? Light has GA, right? And Chemtech Soul. You have to kill him 3 times. It's a little bit difficult to deal with. Not exactly fun to go up against. You have the tank Doinb. This Lee Sin is obviously bulky. Ale is unstoppable, and they are just walking these waves in, fishing for a window.
Okay,
I mean, look at bot lane. You can see in the bottom left.
Yeah, dude. xiaolaohu having a rough time of it, man. And Soulflare goes in. The finishing touches trying to be applied. Tarzan gets out before the Chemtech even comes into it. Doinb right into the middle of the tank. Ryze again. So successful. Ladies and gentlemen, as the inhibitor goes down, LNG one step away from remaining undefeated in the LPL. Lwx going forward. He thinks he has the Chemtech solved, but unfortunately he's dead for good as Light runs forward. And LNG, the finishing touch is getting applied sooner than we think. A long series, but LNG moved to the top. The first team in the LPL, 5-0. How's that one on for size?
And what a way to do it. Doinb against his old team, managing for a convincing turnaround. Yes, game 2 a little bit rough, but game 3, there were moments. Absolutely, there were moments, but we saw Ale doing what he does best, scaling up in the side lane. We saw Tarzan being instrumental in setting the aggression of the game. Doinb roaming, Light being that late game carry. And okay, maybe LvMao down a little bit too much, but he doesn't care about KDA. He cares about the win.